I'm Nick Seco from HomeRight Windows and Doors, and we're located in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. So we do vinyl replacement windows, we do steel and fiberglass entry doors, we do aluminum storm doors, and we do sliding patio doors, all made by Provia. The windows are a vinyl replacement window, and it could be anything from double hungs to casements to bay and bow windows and everything in between. So when somebody calls in the office and needs an estimate, they get Roxanne on the phone typically, and she would schedule an appointment for me to come out and take some measurements, provide some literature, go through what options we have, and then I would follow up within about 24 to 48 hours with an estimate with all the details of the products as well as the installed price. I find that we're typically much more affordable than the companies that you see advertising on TV or in a lot of other places. If they're spending a lot of advertising dollars, obviously they're passing those costs on to their consumers. You could go to our website at homerightwaynesboro.com, or you could call us at 717-749-4874.
Local and live, covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk TriState with Tiny and Katie.
Welcome back to Let's Talk TriState, all powered by HomeRight Windows and Doors, winner of the 2024 Best of the TriState, the right choice in Waynesboro. Our first guest today, we have Alan Dietrich Ward, who is coming from the Cumberland Valley Rails to Trails Council, and you are on the board. And I'm just going to have you start by telling me, where is the rail trail?
Sure. So the Cumberland Valley Rail Trail Council follows the original route of the Cumberland Valley Railroad, which is one of the very first railroads in the United States of America.
Wow.
It came through the Cumberland Valley in the 1830s from Harrisburg to Chambersburg and then eventually down to Hagerstown. The route that we have now of Norfolk Southern follows the original route of the Cumberland Valley Railroad, right?
Interesting.
So it is, yep.
Okay.
So the rail trail was formed in the 1990s when Conrail, who owned the route at the time, was divesting itself of some of its routes and consolidating, and so the main line shifted to a different trackage. And so the track between Shippensburg and Carlisle was abandoned. And the Cumberland Valley Rails to Trails Council purchased it, and ever since has been working on building a rail trail, bike and pedestrian, between Shippensburg and Carlisle. The first portion of it opened in 2005 between Shippensburg and Newville, and we've been working on pieces of it since then. So now it goes about 13 miles. From Shippensburg to the northeastern side of Newville, and then there are some pieces that are finished between Newville and Carlisle. We're still working on getting it finalized.
And what's the end goal that you have?
Well, it depends on how big picture you want to get, right? So I think our immediate goal is to get from Shippensburg to Carlisle. There are a couple of properties that we don't own that we're still working on some workarounds for. So stay tuned, though. We're getting close to those. But then ultimately, wouldn't it be cool if you could get on your bike at the C&O Canal in Williamsport and take it all the way up? Yeah, sure. And they're also working on a cross-state route that would follow the old mainline canal system that went from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh. So hopefully, 10 years from now, you might even be able to go from the C&O up to Harrisburg, round to Pittsburgh, and back around again.
Oh my goodness!
We'll see.
So you said that there's bike trails and pedestrian trails.
That's right. Yep.
Is there hiking available?
Oh, of course. Yeah. If you're walking, you're allowed to hike too. You can call it whatever you want, right?
Is it like mildly strenuous, or is it very?
It's all flat, just like any other rail trail. So the beauty of, among many other things, the beauty of Rails to Trails is that trains have to have a pretty low grade in order to be able to run. And so all of the Rails to Trails are at that same grade. So this is not like the Appalachian Trail. This is not backcountry hiking. Okay. Nice and flat. Folks of all different abilities are able to use it. We actually also, if you're an equestrian and you like horseback riding, we actually have alongside the kind of main cinder, kind of stone dust path, there's also about 13 miles worth of equestrian that you can do too.
Dog friendly then, I'm assuming.
Absolutely,
as well.
absolutely. We're everything friendly.
What kind of scenery are you experiencing?
That's what's so cool. Because we're here in the Cumberland Valley, you're you're going through the middle of some towns like Shippensburg and Newville, but you're kind of going out in the middle of the country, right? So there's woods, there's kind of quiet country roads, there are farm fields. It's really quite lovely. And we're actually working as well. The main thrust over the last 20 years has been between Shippensburg and Carlisle. Mm-hmm. But we're also right now, we are just finished a feasibility study on looking at potentially extending the trail down to Chambersburg. There's about a mile or mile and a half of trail in Chambersburg, in downtown Chambersburg. We're looking at connecting along the old Western Maryland Railroad route, which is still active between Chambersburg and Shippensburg, to be able to connect through to there. And I should say, the route is also part of the National 9/11 Memorial Trail System. So this is a trail system that's designed to connect the main sites of the National 9/11 tragedy in Shanksville, in New York City, and in Washington, D.C. And so, of course, Letterkenny at the Letterkenny Chapel has a lovely 9/11 memorial. And so our goal is to be able to connect through to Letterkenny and connect to Chambersburg as well as part of that 9/11 Memorial Trail.
Tell me a little bit, Alan, about how what is your background? You obviously know a lot about this and have a lot of passion for this. Tell me how you got started with this.
So I'm actually, my day job, the one job I actually get paid for is I'm a professor of history at Shippensburg University.
Okay.
I'm the director of the grad school there. So, but I should say, the really nice thing about Rails to Trails is it connects people of all different backgrounds, right? People who love trails, people who love history, like me, people who love community development, unlike, again, these lovely wilderness trails like the Appalachian Trail, because Rails to Trails follow the railroad routes, they go right through the middle of towns, and so in many towns, with the rise of cars, the parts of town that were, close to the railroad have kind of been forgotten. This is a way to reconnect those parts of town to each other, and so in Shippensburg, where I live, the university and the university was originally built there because it was along the railroad, right? Students, commuted to the school, on the railroad. They got, coal, and they got books, and, all of the supplies came there. But when the railroad declined, that area kind of became a no man's land and separated the town and the university. Now with the development of the rail trail, and if you're into railroads, we have two little railroad museums.
That was one of my questions I was going to ask you about.
We have two little railroad museums right along the rail trail in Shippensburg at the trailhead that are open all day, every day. They're self-guided, but they also help to tell the story of the railroad, but they also help to kind of bring the town and the university back together again. And from my perspective, that's really the beauty of the trails. In addition to them being recreation, they're really about bringing these communities that have kind of, that were connected by the railroad, kind of building connections back between them again.
I might sneeze.
Bless you.
I'm so sorry about that. It's so hard not to.
It'll come out in post-production, don't worry.
So sorry.
It'll come out. That clip, there's going to be a snip and a snip on either side, and it'll be all done.
Okay.
Take two.
I'm so sorry about that.
It's good to be working with professionals.
Okay. Yes. I was really trying hard to make it stop, but I just couldn't.
Where shall we start?
No, because you ended it beautifully, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to say.
Now to our sponsors.
Not quite yet. Not quite yet. Okay. Mm-hmm. Alan, have you walked the 13 miles from Shippensburg all the way up to?
I biked it. I biked it many times. And it's funny you ask about that because not too many people walk the whole thing, right? It's more biking if they're going to do the whole thing.
It's 13 up. And
it's each way. That's right. And 13 back, right? 13 back. Yeah. But a good friend of mine, she and her husband and their two kids who were working on their Scout long-distance hiking merit badge, just on Mother's Day, can you imagine that as a Mother's Day present? They hiked the whole 26 miles up and back on Mother's Day.
It's a great route if you're training for a marathon.
That is correct. Yeah, it's perfect distance.
Right there
That's
at
perfect
the
distance. Yeah, and in fact, we do have a lot of races on the trail. We have a whole race series, and then in the fall. In early October, we have Cumberland Valley Trail Fest, and so we'll have races, short ones for people like me, bike ride, and we'll have live music. We have a big festival, live music, beer and wine, and food trucks. And if you can't wait till October, from April till October, so starting here in a couple of weeks, the first Friday of every month. On Friday evening from 4:30 to 8, we have live music, we have beer and wine, a beer garden, and food trucks, and an art mart at Ship Station. We have First Fridays there in Shippensburg.
And this starts at the end of April?
Beginning of April, first Friday. Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, April 4th, so April 4th, I think.
And all of the money goes to the rail trail?
It all goes to the rail trail, yeah.
How are you funded?
So it's all through private donations, and that's one of the reasons I'm so excited to talk with you today. The March is really the ideal time for folks who are interested to make a donation. The Partnership for Better Health, based up in Carlisle, has a Match Madness campaign. Where you don't even have to develop a bracket.
or know anything about basketball.
That's right. So if you go to if you type in Partnership for Better Health on Google, it'll pull up the Match Madness campaign, and all of the donations made to the rail trail, to the Cumberland Valley Rail Trail Council, and to the other nonprofits that are on the list, they all get matching funds during the month of March.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's super cool.
That is amazing. Mm-hmm. So would you say then that your next big fundraising event would be the first Friday coming up in April?
That's right.
Okay.
So Match Madness for March, and then the very first Friday in April, if folks want to come up and have a beer, have a glass of wine. Again, if you're into railroads, or you have grandkids maybe that just love Thomas the Tank Engine, we have two really, really cool railroad museum built-in original railroad cars.
And are they free to?
They are, absolutely. Yep.
And what are the hours for
all
that?
day, every day.
Really?
Yep, all day, every day. They open at dawn, close at dusk every day.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. Yep.
I didn't know that there was so much of this available.
Super exciting, yeah.
And Shippensburg's just right down the road.
It is right down the road, yep. And all roads lead to 81, so it's easy to get to, yeah. So, if you take a look at CVRTT, Cumberland Valley Rail Trail Council.org, it'll give you all the info. The Shippensburg Station Trailhead is the one on the Shippensburg side. That's where the railroad museums are. We currently have 3 railroad cars, a bunch of other railroad stuff, and then that's in addition to the trail itself. But wait, there's more. If you're an art nerd, if you like art, outdoor art, we have a sculpture walk there, a whole mile of outdoor sculptures right along the rail.
Are they made from metal? Or
many of them are, yeah, and some of them are even made from made from former railroad parts, like parts from the track.
That is really cool.
Super neat. Things you didn't know, just right up the valley.
I didn't. Okay, and you said that website very quickly because it's an acronym. Can you say it for me one more time so people can find you?
Yeah, it's Cumberland Valley Rail Trail Council, so it's CVRTC.org.
Great.
Or if you go and type in Cumberland Valley Rail Trail, you'll find it.
Well, Alan, thank you so much for sharing all this information, and it's something that I personally would like to check out. I love to run, but I like to run on flat land.
It is perfect for
that. Right around this time...
You're getting spring fever, aren't you?
I signed up for a 10K at the end of April.
Time to start training.
So I have 6 weeks to get in there, so that might actually be perfect.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us on Let's Talk TriState, all powered by WellSpan, winner of the American Hospital Association's Quest for Quality Award, online at wellspan.org.
Let's talk TriState.
If you'd like to be featured on an upcoming episode of Let's Talk TriState, call 717-597-9200 or email letstalk@921thegoat.com.